there are a lot of myths and superstitions in the psych part, especially. Like you have to always write a positive story.
One has learned, understood, done the hard work, and implemented it, acquired it. Another has.
So I think that understanding the team's opinion and also working upon that is necessary.
And your ambition will work as a driving force for you. It will not only support you, but it will also carry you forward to your goal.
Good afternoon, everybody, and here I am back with two of the recommended candidates. There's a lovely story behind them. They both have a different lovely name to them, the nicknames to them. They will themselves reveal it to themselves, you all rather. And the beauty of the story is साथ में पले बड़े हुए गलत. Okay, साथ में एक दूसरे से बात करी online, and they became friends, and they decided to have the same kind of a target goal. They started pursuing it together, and today they are here on the platform of Force TVS to talk only to me on the coffee with Kamal, to share their learnings with all of you. And with this, I welcome Soumya Anand Srivastav and Bhavishya. They both have recently cleared which board, they will tell you in detail. They have recently cleared their FSBs. I'll have to ask them which one, because they will tell with all the glitter and glamour, right? And it is their first attempt. In the first attempt, these two best friends are right here on the platform to share what's not and what's in, how the psych and how the GTO and how the IO preparation was there, and how they faced it all. Bringing you the duo, the besties, right here, right now. Say hello to the entire world, Bhavishya and Soumya.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. So, bhai, thoda sa josh mein lekar baat karte hain. Tumhare sare dost khade hain wahan par. So they have got tremendous questions for you. But before that, just congratulations to both of you. How? Kaise? मतलब पहले तो I am really curious that आप लोग मिले कैसे? ये सवाल मुझे दूसरे तरीके से पूछना चाहिए था, but आप दोनों ऑनलाइन कैसे मिले? And then how did the friendship start? And how did you really come with this idea of preparing together? Who's going to answer? Fastest fingers first.
Soumya, would you like to?
Yeah, Bhavishya. नहीं, Bhavishya बोलेगा. Bhavishya will set the Bhavishya.
Ma'am, we both met at coaching. Then
Okay.
from there, our friendship got very deepened because we both were the roommates over there.
Okay.
So we used to talk whole night and prepare for the next day.
Good. I like it.
And constantly we prepared for ourselves for the Ex-SSB, and after coming back from the coaching also, we made a separate group for ourselves. The better ones who were very motivated to join.
Very good.
A separate group. We used to talk with them and share the ideas, various ideas.
Very good.
So from that point of time, me and Soumya were the very closest ones. We used to talk on private chats, share our experiences, and the friendship got deepened.
Very good. Now that you have already started the conversations, so Soumya, I would like to understand who started the planning part. कि भाई देख एक 10 साल बाद तुम और मैं तुम्हारी और मेरी दोस्ती फिर से स्ट्रॉन्ग, लोग अफसाने गाएंगे. What was the who you were the one who planned, or was it Bhavishya?
It was something more of a mutual thing. We both saw each other as someone who was motivated to join the armed forces, and we share a lot of similarities. So we decided that we should carry each other towards the clearing SSB and everything, and we have done that.
Okay, so let me go very deliberate on this thing, because this is a very, very important aspect of your preparation. My question is, were you still into studies, or how did you really, schedule your timing for your studies, for your entries and written entries, and for your SSB? Did you start simultaneously? Soumya, did you start simultaneously?
Yes, ma'am. Personally, I believe SSB is something which cannot be prepared for in 2 or 3 months or just by taking a coaching. It requires you to develop as a person. So the sooner you start, the better it is. So in 10th, one of my friends got recommended for India only. And thereafter, I decided that I also need to inculcate the OLQs in myself. And after that, I started reading about the OLQs and how can I inculcate them in myself. And from there onwards, I have looked at myself as an officer and tried to inculcate the OLQs so that I can develop myself.
So let me rephrase the question. You mentioned that from 10th onwards, you started reading books, right? Is this the same that is applicable to Bhavishya also?
No, ma'am, not at all.
Okay, so I will first finish this with Soumya. So you started reading the books, right? What all books did you read so that you wanted to inculcate those OLQs?
I did not read any books specifically for SSB. I wanted to learn certain things. Like I've read a lot of books, and majority of them were self-help books, so
Very
that I
good.
can learn the importance of positivity and being open to situations.
Very good.
So that if I'm under any pressure or under any circumstance, I know how to deal with it.
Very good. So I would like to clarify, you may please correct me. Is it correct then to assume, Soumya, that these books, when you started reading, you inculcated and practiced them? And while you were practicing them, you honed your personality to be able to handle any kind of situation. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely great. So Bhavishya, tell me, throw some light, and how did you first thought of SSB and how did you start preparing for it?
Ma'am, I was a complete civilian background.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to know about NDA in the 11th class.
Mm-hmm.
So from that point of time, I thought that this is the field where I want to go.
Okay.
Since 11th class, by the end of 11th class, I started preparing for the written examination.
Mm-hmm.
I failed my first attempt, then worked more harder, then cleared the second one. So
Mm-hmm.
what I think was that for SSB, my sports personality worked for me because since childhood I was a sports person.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. So you, I mean, I will come to that sports personality a bit later. Remind me, okay? Because I am getting older. Okay. So the point is, now you both have touched a very, very important point. I would want you, let's say 6 months जब आप लोगों ने अपनी दोस्ती को पक्का किया और plan करना start किया. What and how did you take on to your planning? I want you to tell to all the candidates and the aspirants who are preparing, how did you prepare? TAT को कैसे लिया, WAT को, PGT, GD, how? You said you prepared for 6 months. Is that correct for me to assume?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I would want कि TAT, Psych, whose Psych was better? Was it Bhavish's better or Soumya's better?
Soumya, completely
So,
Soumya.
and whose GTO was better?
Mine.
Bhavishya.
Okay. So first class. So Soumya, Psych part. I mean, I'm good. I'll take the Psych. I'm biased towards Psych. Okay. So I would want you to share, how did you go about preparing the Psych part?
Ma'am, the first process to prepare for the psych part is to know what psych is about and what all tests are there and what you have to do in them. As you can see, there are a lot of myths and superstitions in the psych part, especially. Like you have to always write a positive story.
Om likhna chahiye. Om likhna chahiye, right?
There are a lot of myths about the psych part. You cannot take the character of your opposite gender. It has to be of your age. So what you need to do is first know the process yourself and then start practicing it. And by practicing, I do not mean that picture dekhi and likhna shuru kar diya.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Start observing first. Like if you see a picture, find out what all is there and what is happening in the picture first. Then decide what is going to happen in your story.
You come and sit in my place. I'm so happy to listen this part. I will grow old and then take a naya janam, and I'll be saying this only in my next janam also. Please observe the picture. Everything is in the picture. Observe the picture carefully. That's all. Amazing. Please please repeat the statement that you've just said, and be very deliberate so that everybody understands. Coming from your mouth, they will understand. Say that again, please.
So in TAT, the first step is to observe the picture carefully. Once you have observed it, you will be aware of what is happening in the picture, and then you just have to decide what will happen and what has happened. So it is like if you have observed the picture correctly, you have done 80 to 90% of the work already.
Great. Absolutely. I would like also to understand, I'll go into the TATs a bit later. How did you go about WAT, Soumya?
As I mentioned earlier, I read a lot of books.
Mhm.
So reading books have exponentially helped me. Like
Very good.
as I said, I read self-help books. So self-help books are full of positivity and things that help you in your life. So even though you do not remember everything, there is a subconscious or unconscious thought in your mind that comes out in WAT. So if you see even a negative word and
Mhm.
you have read up something about it in any book that you have read, it will come out. Like I have read Atomic Habits by James Clear. That book is almost everything about breaking addictions and getting free from the everything. So if you uh, if you have read that book, you will automatically get words to again in addiction.
Yes.
So that will help you do well in WAT.
So, what about people like me who don't read books? Though I read a lot, but nowadays I don't read any book. But what about those people? What would you suggest for them?
The first thing is start reading books. As
Good one. So,
reading books is very necessary. It
mhm.
not only your psych part, it also improves your communication, which will help you in IO and till an extent in GTO also.
So
So
can I assume this also then, सौम्या, कि जब आप WAT को attempt कर रहे होते हो, time is of premium, right? A lot of pressure is there. So क्योंकि आपने उस चीज को handle किया है, right? So the moment the pressure is on, your mind starts going towards whatever is there in the repository. And because the repository of your brain, repository का मतलब the library of the brain is full of these thoughts, is chooses that thought. Is that correct?
yes, ma'am.
Fantastic, beautiful. And what about SRT? Do you think that
Ma'am,
the psychs pay attention to SRT? I don't think so. I think the psychs just browse through it. What do you say?
ma'am, I do think that SRT is important too,
Mhm,
and like it is something that you're showing in your consciousness. So it is
mhm,
as important as WAT and TAT. Like
mhm,
a person can be proactive in in WAT and TAT, but
mhm,
because of certain conditions, he might not be so proactive in SRT. That
mhm.
is a major hindrance because
Okay.
we live as conscious human beings. We act consciously. So SRT is equally important. I would say that each and every test in psychology, GTO and IO is equally important. Take everything seriously
Mhm.
and do not outweigh anything. Like this is more important and this is less important.
So there comes a very important aspect before I really move to Bhavishya and question him about GTO. There are two important aspects, that is regarding SD and also about the blank story. You know what is the myth that is going about, that is that SD is not important, people don't read it, and you need to आप किसी की भी SD उठा के लिख दीजिए या whatever. How did you prepare for your SD?
Mom, the first step to prepare for SD is to get to know the opinions of your parents, teachers, and friends.
Mhm.
And you need to introspect also to get to know about yourself also.
Very good.
And then you need to write down the qualities you have. You don't
Mhm,
need to write proper paragraphs. Just
mhm,
write down the qualities that you have found from the others' opinions and your opinion.
mhm,
And once you have wrote them, you can just try expressing it.
mhm.
And with practice, you'll get better at it and you'll get good. And the benefit of this is that it is your ST and
Yes,
it will correspond to your WAT, SRT, and TAT. It will
fantastic,
not, it will not,
fantastic. Hmm.
it will not look copied or unoriginal. It will be authentic and yours.
Very, very important aspect. Thank you so much, Soumya. It really touched my heart because you would, I mean, candidates know and my colleagues also know, psychology is my life, right? And I swear or I breathe psychology, right? So thank you so much for reiterating this. And this brings me to another important aspect, that is our blank story. How did you go about preparing your blank story?
Mom, in blank story, I had written something related to basketball. Just like Bhavishya, I'm also a sports person since my birth. I have played a lot of sports and everything.
Mhm,
So I wanted to show my life in the blank story.
mhm,
So I have played basketball at a national level.
mhm,
So I have depicted my journey of how I went from a school player to a national player in my
mhm,
blank story.
mhm,
And since I have did that in reality, I was able to inculcate more actions in it and be more specific in it. And
Very good. Very good. So again, because you just mentioned the word action and you inculcated yourself in it. Last doubt before I move to Bhavishya. In the stories, there are situations wherein which you have not lived, right, Soumya? And Bhavishya, this is you can also add in. कई ऐसी situations होती हैं जो कि आपने कभी करी नहीं. How do you handle? How do you handle them? How have you both handled them?
Ma'am, I think awareness is very important for these situations.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the newspaper or if you read even fiction, if you read, you will be aware of what to do when things happen. Like I personally have not witnessed any huge fire, but since I've read newspapers and watched TV shows related to it, I know what will happen if something happens like that.
Okay.
So that will help me ultimately in my TAT, SRT, and WAT.
And I'm just a contrary position of Soumya. I never read any book.
Exactly. I was about to. I was about to because I will share one anecdote. I was about to go to SSB and my mother was going to Punjab, right? So she says, "Beta, तुम्हारी SSB है. लो ये book पढ़ो." I don't even remember which book she gave. And what I read was like, "Oh my God, stories. Read." And then I got bored of the stories. I kept the book aside. She used to call me every day on that landline number. बेटा book पढ़ी? पढ़ रही हूँ. बेटा बुक पढ़ रही हूँ. उसके पहले apart from 12th standard की books or whatever the books that I had from engineering, I read nothing. So Soumya, you are amazing. But मेरे जैसे बच्चों का क्या होगा, थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में ज्ञान लेंगे. And for this we hop on to Bhavishya. Bhavishya, you and my vibe match. भाई तुमने कैसे किया? बताओ मुझे.
Ma'am, initially I was the very dumbest person in the TAT.
Ditto, me too.
I used to think that we have to make the person at the authority level. So every time I used to make it an IITian, a scientist.
Achha.
And my story used to get very dumb because as scientist, I don't know what scientists do exactly. My actions were very low level in respect to the position of a scientist.
Very good.
So after some time of being dumb, I came to know that I have to portray my life. That I have
Very
to show
nice.
what I have done.
Okay.
So for some time, I wrote everything that from my childhood days, what is the unique thing that I have done.
Okay.
Like I have been into sports. Not many people go there. I have specifically in karate, the combat sport.
I don't know you, Bhavishya. Henceforth, I don't know you. You never know. I ask you another question and then you say, okay, I'm not like the question. Now I'm going to meet ma'am and then done. Okay, that was on the lighter side. Yes, then karate, yes.
And specifically, I know what I have done in karate. What was my authorities over there? What were my achievements? Later on in the family time, then how I approached my father, what are my responsibilities at my home. So I understood all those things. And then after seeing a picture, like there are certain pictures in which a mother and it looks like a mother and a son. So I know what I do with my mother, how I communicate with her.
Yeah.
So all those things, the good qualities I put in over there.
Very good.
So that
Very
was
good.
my approach.
So listen, candidates, anybody and everybody who's listening, we have got two friends working together, preparing together, both at the different poles, North and the South Pole. And what has happened in both of their cases, one has learned, understood, done the hard work and implemented it, acquired it. Another has observed, looked within and applied it on the SSB. Both the approaches are correct. Why are they correct? Here is the question, answer. Why it is correct is because in both the cases, they implemented on themselves. They related it with themselves. And that is how the truthfulness and the authenticity came out. Great. Thank you so much, Bhavishya, for bringing this out. Because whether mere jaise log to nirash ho jate. So, okay. So now, Bhavishya, now that you mentioned that the GTO was your forte, how did you go about guiding Soumya and how did you go about planning on the GTO path?
Ma'am, GTO kuch nahi, bas jugaad hai, jugaad.
Arre vah. You talk my language, Bhavishya, you and me are going on, the offline, this one. मेरे को GTO पीटेंगे इसके बाद. It is really the use of this use that. I mean, I told somebody, it is all about using this for handling any situation. Yes, sorry, I stole your limelight. Yes, Bhavisha.
Ma'am, when we went to coaching, at that point of time, naturally I was the one who was leading the group. I used to be ahead because I had too many ideas. When I used to see the structure, I used to think that yes, I can keep this over here. This will be the force. It will stop it. So all those jugards came into my mind, like ultimately.
Yes.
So after that, what were the things that they taught me was they told that I have to be ahead always. Being ahead will be the unique thing, that initiative. I am taking initiatives over there. So in the AFSB when I went,
Yeah.
that time the structures were too different from the coaching ones, because AFSB has a very huge structures. There were some kind of swings over there, the
Oh,
ropes hanging.
okay.
So what I knew was I have to lead. So I just picked up the plank, put it, and stood over it.
Okay.
Then I was seeing that what can I do from here. I applied my ideas. Some of it worked, some of it didn't work. So I asked some of the teammates that what can we do further. So there
Very
was some
good.
who used to say
Okay.
that we can
So,
try this, we can try this.
just for the benefit of others, what did Bhavishya did was he he's a leader. He took the initiative. See, first is idea generation. He generated an idea, brought it forth in front of the team, implemented it. At times, what happens is there are too many. I'll come to this question also. There are many questions that there are many ideas that are coming in the group. But as of now, we'll take it as a second phase. So first phase में ये मानते हैं कि भविष्य ने idea दिया, implement किया, and then अगर वो आगे नहीं जा पाए, he took into consideration that every team member mattered. He valued, please understand, block big bold letters, italic, valued the inputs of his team. Each one of his team was taken into consideration, right? This is how the team bonding happens. The team is taken head. Okay, yes. So भविष्य क्या हुआ फिर इसके बाद में?
And then we applied many ideas, but in the AFSB it was very difficult.
अच्छा.
So after applying multiple ideas, we could not do it.
Oh.
We had some other idea, but that could not be done from the position we were standing at. So the
Okay.
G2 gave us concession, like you can go on the ground and put it however you want to.
Okay.
So I went ahead, put it according to myself, and then the team moved forward.
Very good.
At the next obstacle, I was the one who was left behind.
Oh.
So now I knew that I have to go ahead. So how will I? So everyone was ahead of me. They put plank already standing over there. So there is a point when a whole group gets stuck. At that point of time, you came into the power.
Very good.
So I came there. I asked, gentlemen, I think I have an idea. I can put it like this. May I come there? So when a person don't have idea and he's standing in between, apart from group, he's very pressurized. So he came back and I went there. So now I have the power.
Amazing.
Now again I took on the group forward.
Very good. So it is right to say that you wait for your turn, even if you have ideas. Now this is where one of the aspirants asked me the question कि मैम अगर इतने सारे लोग जब ideas दे रहे होते हैं और कोई आपके सुन नहीं रहा होता तब क्या करना चाहिए? तो I suppose can you rephrase and answer this for the aspirant who was asked this question कि जब PGT में इतने सारे ideas हो रहे हैं कोई सुन नहीं रहा होता आपकी बात तो how will you answer or how will you put yourself forth?
Wait for your turn.
Very good.
Perfect thing is wait for your turn. Give reasonable answers that this thing will not work. Even if it worked for this step, the next step will be hindered. Or if their idea is working, we should go with it.
भविष्य लेकिन एक बात बताइए कि ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है कि एक ग्रुप में सौम्या हो और एक ही ग्रुप में उसी ग्रुप में भविष्य भी हो तब क्या करोगे? दोनों के दोनों आइडियाज हैं.
Leading one, I am the first person ahead, so I can take Soumya to the second person. He also has some ideas. I can consider them also. What value is the ideas that you have and how you are implementing over there?
Okay, so इसका मतलब हुआ because I would like to keep precipitating the good points. The thoughts matter. Thoughts and the ideas that matter. How is तुम्हारा दिमाग किस तरह से चलता है and action. How are you going to implement those ideas? Is that correct, Bhavishya?
Yes, ma'am.
Mind blowing बच्चे हो तुम लोग यार. Very nice. Okay, so मुझे ये बताओ कि How did you put in some extra efforts, or some strategy was there for you to behave in a certain fashion in the GD, or and how did you really approach your GD and effectively the CT also? I'm asking it from the point of view of teamwork.
Ma'am, let's go to the GD first of all.
Okay, gone.
And I will take back to the instance of my coaching.
Okay.
I was a person who was very dominant. Soumya was in my group. He
Mhm.
also knows that.
Okay.
I used to yell at everyone.
Ye bhagwan.
Like, how can you say that?
Okay.
So I used to get a review that you
कहाँ
are
के
very
रहने
good.
वाले हो आप भविष्य
Ma'am, Uttar Pradesh.
में जबान पर? Okay, fine. Okay.
Our
Okay.
GT used to say, tell me that you are very dominant.
Mhm.
You are speaking, that's a good quality, but being a dominant is not a good quality.
Mhm.
Then the second GD went. In
Mhm.
second GD, from dominance, I shifted to questioning. Like if
Mhm.
Ome is considered giving an idea, I used to say,
Mhm.
how can you say that? What are the reasons that you are saying that with? So again, I got a review that you are questioning a lot.
Mhm.
So by the third GD, I understood that I have to give ideas. And
Mhm.
at that time, in the off task, me and
Mhm.
Somi used to talk with each other, and I used to ask him that what were the
Mhm.
shortcomings that I was there. So
Very
he also
good.
used to tell me that, "Bhai, ऐसे mat kar yaar."
एक second. I would want to bring out for in front of all the candidates what happened. What was the journey of भविष्य? See, हम जनरली क्या करते हैं, हमारे फीडबैक को, आपको कोई भी फीडबैक देता है ना, उसको लेकर क्या यार, जीटे सर ने तो ये बोल दिया, साइक मैडम का तो पता ही नहीं है, कुछ भी बोल देती हैं. What did Bhavishya do? He was given thrice the feedback. Apart from that, he took feedback from his friends also. उसको एक बार जीटे ने बोला कि तुम बहुत डोमिनेटिंग हो, दूसरी बार बोला बहुत इंटेरोगेटिंग हो, तीसरी बार बोला कि तुमसे ना हो पाएगा. Did he really stop? No, he kept amending himself. He kept improving himself. He kept changing those, transforming himself. That is where he changed from dominant to questioning to the person who thought, converted, channelized that energy into giving ideas. And he took support from others also, but for a better outcome. Bhavishya, over to you back.
And then the fourth GD came.
Mhm.
Then that time I understood what I have to do. I used
Mhm.
to share my ideas.
Mhm.
But in that GD, they give me that review that I lack knowledge.
I like it.
Then
I,
again the 3D came, the same review, I lack knowledge. So I know
Mhm.
that knowledge is something that I can work upon and I can
Mhm.
increase.
Yes.
So the main trait, the dominant trait, I
Mm.
ended up over there. The interrogative trait ended. Now what I have to work on is knowledge. I completely understood that.
Mhm.
And after coming back home,
Mhm.
started reading newspaper a lot.
Mhm.
Every day I used to read The Hindu.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, me and Soumya used to discuss about the editorial. Like, what are your opinion on this? What are
Very
my
good.
opinion? So that is
Very
also
good.
a part of GD.
Very good. Very good. So you only Soumya pinpointed the mistakes in you, or you also pinpointed certain mistakes in him? या फिर वो था, Sadhguru in making, and you were like,
No, ma'am, he was good in GD.
अच्छा,
हाँ.
दोस्ती के कारण कि just ऐसे ही?
नहीं मैम, वो अच्छा था.
अच्छा था. Okay.
हाँ.
So he was good in GD and he was good in GP also.
GP, I think we both were equally good.
Equally good.
Hmm.
Who was good in making friendship and creating a good environment kind of a thing wherein people would call you for help of CT? ऐसा कौन था वो?
मैम, हमारा ग्रुप जो रूम था ना, रूममेट, ये था माहौल बनाने वाला रूम.
Okay.
All the rooms student used to came into our room. They used to sit in our room for the whole night and talk with us.
Okay.
Because I was the best in GTO, and Soumya was the one best in psychology.
तुम लोग अलग से कोई आश्रम वाश्रम तो नहीं खोल रहे, राइट? I sincerely मुझे लग रहा है कि बेटा ये वाला इस सवाल का प्रश्न जवाब सौम्या गुरु देंगे. अरे बेटा तुम गलत रूम में आ गए, जाओ भविष्य सर के पास जाइए. ऐसा कुछ होने वाला तो बता दो मुझे.
नहीं नहीं.
नहीं.
Post
The same
retirement
thing happened
plans.
in SSB also.
Post retirement plans. Good one. Say that again.
In SSB also, in my actual SSB, the
Mhm.
same thing happened. That
Okay.
time also, all the room students came into my room and sit with me, and they used to ask me, "और बता भाई क्या करा आज?"
कहाँ
And
से पास किया आप लोगों ने? मतलब where have you done from? Where have you cleared your SSB? This one, Bhavishya.
I'm 2A FSB Mysore.
हाँ, वहां से मुझे कॉल आया था कि सर बहुत एक रूम से बहुत लाइट आ रही है, मतलब लाइट बंद करने के बावजूद भी बहुत लाइट आ रही है, तो तुमने कि देयर वाज अ ग्लो और व्हाट, यू नो,
Ma'am,
यू आर
by
एमिनेटिंग
two
लाइट.
o'clock, by 2 in the night, we used to play Antakshari.
अब भी कॉल जाएगा उनके पास. देयर 10 the 10 o'clock lights off is not being observed at all. Oh God. All right. And okay, so तुम्हारे रूम से मतलब ज्ञान की जो लाइट आती थी उसमें तुम लोग क्या क्या डिस्कस करते थे?
मैम ज्ञान नहीं मैम, मजे करते थे हम.
मेरा सारा जो I used to have such, you know, such a good image of all the candidates. 10 o'clock lights off, ma'am. 10 o'clock lights off. सब बच्चे सो चुके हैं. I said, wow, great. I used to go and check. कोई जाग तो नहीं रहा, कोई रूम के बाहर तो नहीं है. Now you're telling me that तुम लोग ये सब कुछ करते थे? गलत रिपोर्ट. बहुत बहुत नाइंसाफी है हम लोगों के साथ. Nevertheless, I'm very sure you both would have enjoyed. You cleared Soumya from 4 SSB, right?
For FSB Varanasi.
Varanasi. Good. So you had amazing time, both of you there.
Yes, ma'am.
So before really jumping into your IOs, I would like to share here little good times that you had. Soumya, from you first at 4 FSB.
Ma'am, it's not about the place, but the people.
Yes.
There were a lot of people and they had different backgrounds and different perspectives. So it was a very nice and interactive way in which we all of us talked. And as we used to sit in a circle after the dinner. There was a garden-like thing in front of the volleyball court. Usi mein around 30 students are sitting in a circle and we are discussing things. It can be random, it can be related to SSB or anything. And in between that, we used to crack jokes and sing songs. Everything was happening. It was very spontaneous. उसमें लोग डांस कर रहे हैं, एक तरफ गाना गा रहे हैं, सब कुछ हो रहा है उसमें at the same time. So it was very lively, and there were then people who were sitting outside and they were also observing. We also tried to get in touch with us, but they were very reluctant. So what we used to do, all 30 of us will go towards them.
वो ये कौन थे? बाहर वाले लोग थे? Civilians?
No, ma'am. They were the candidates only, but they did not want to join us.
Okay.
So all 30 of us got up and went to them and pulled them between in the center of the circle and made them sit there.
Very nice.
And then questions were asked and they had to answer. They were not made to leave before they answered.
Nice way of putting mini ragging, right? Don't worry. इसको नोट कर लिया गया है रेड डायरी में एंड इसको जाके बताया जाएगा. बट इट इज वेरी गुड सौम्या, बिकॉज दिस इज द टाइम. दिस इज एसएसबी का माहौल इस तरह का है दैट यू हैव गॉन देयर एज रॉ इंडिविजुअल्स एंड यू नीड टू एंजॉय. आई मीन द टेस्टिंग टाइम इज डिफरेंट, बट अगर बाकी सारे टाइम में भी अगर आप टेस्टिंग मोड में होने लगे, दो देयर हैज टू बी नो डिफरेंस बिटवीन द टेस्टिंग टाइम एंड द नॉन टेस्टिंग phase. That's what the fun is all about. So this is really nice. Everybody who is listening, please understand, more relaxed that you are, better things will come out of you. Your
Yes,
mindset.
ma'am. And even in SSB, there are candidates who are very serious. You will see them in formals all the time.
Definitely.
They're in their,
Yes.
they're reading books and everything. They're revising their notes.
Yes.
But what I would personally recommend you is to give your best in the task and have fun. Enjoy with your friends. And what this will do is it will reduce your stress from yourself. You will have fun. It will remove your mind. It will remove your mind from the task and everything and create a happy and cheerful environment around you. Like I had a friend, Pratham. We just a day before conference, none of us were sleepy. So मैं उठा and I went to another room, and coincidentally he also came into that room, and then we sat there and talked till 1 a.m. and no one wanted to leave, but then we realized we need to get up in the morning. Then we had to go and sleep. So what is important is to enjoy the process.
Yes.
And make memories. You're not there being assessed 24/7. You just need to maintain the basic decency.
Yes.
And have fun.
True. Very nicely brought out, Soumya. You have gone there as responsible citizens who are going to be going for a psychological test. I keep reporting, these are my cliche words, psychological test है boss, psychological test है. It is about you. मतलब किसी और का चोला पहन के तुम और कोई तो बन नहीं सकते. सौम्य cannot become भविष्य and भविष्य cannot become सौम्य. So please be you and enjoy the entire process. Rightly brought out. Enjoy the process. Great. Bhavishya, what did you do?
मैम क्या नहीं करा.
Bhagwan. I am not listening. See, I have got the ear plugs in my ear. I'm not listening. But yes, what? Share.
There, I will tell about conference, the night before conference.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point of time, I was in my room. So all were very nervous कि कल क्या होगा भाई, मैं होऊंगा नहीं होऊंगा. So it was like this going on over there.
Okay.
So there was one boy, he was very depressed because his interview was just 15 minutes.
Oh.
After 15 minutes, the interviewer said, now you can go.
Okay.
So he thought, अब तो मैं गया.
Okay.
Because he was from Sainik school and whatever interviewer asked, he was so underconfident he could not answer it.
That.
So he was very nervous about that. So he told me, भाई ऐसे ऐसे हो रहा है. मैंने कहा रुक जा अभी माहौल बनाते हैं. So I went to another room, called upon कि जिसे मजे करने आ जाओ मेरे रूम में. My room was Tejas. मैं जिसे मजे करने तेजस में आओ सारे. So all came into my room. We gathered. So to lighten up the mood, we were started playing dumb arts. I used to take movie from anyone and intentionally make it comedy acting. So the mood get lightened. And then all of us gathered around 40 students. There were 43 total and 3-4 were sleeping. All 40 were there and we divided teams into 2 and started playing Antakshari. Then there were the mess keepers. They came into our room, knocked upon the door. We all ran into my room and some were under the bed, some were over the bed.
Good one. Which fighter plane are you going to fly?
Sukhoi Su-30M किया है.
I just knew that. And what about you, Soumya?
I'm same.
अच्छा बेटा, तुम लोगों ने क्या सांठ-गांठ रखी है? तुम दोनों के ऊपर कोई मूवी बनने वाली है क्या?
Twins की तरह दोनों उड़ाएंगे.
हाँ, दोनों. By the way, I was when I was having a conversation with, was it with you, Bhavishya, or was it with you, Soumya? Who mentioned no, it was with you, Bhavishya, that you both had the same dream. Yes. Matlab, I'm so flabbergasted by knowing this. 2 friends, Jayapuru, okay, and who really have come together. एक किसी की बातें सुनता रहता है and एक बॉस समझदारी से उसको पीता रहता है, you know, कि ठीक है बोल ले यार तेरी बारी, बोल ही ले यार तेरी बारी है. So who's Jay and who's Viru?
Ma'am, at times both switch the position.
Depending on the circumstances, the role switch.
The role switch, okay. But okay, let's say 80% who's Jay and who's Viru.
Bhavishya is Jay, and I am Viru.
Good one. But I am so very happy to see. I more than anything, I suppose, more than guiding people, more than guiding the students, it is this thing when I see in human beings, in people, that really motivates me. It makes my belief in the goodness increase. Thank you so much for bringing this camaraderie between both of you right here on the platform. Thank you. This brings me to a very, very important aspect, and that is IO. Bhavishya, I would want you to tell me, how did you approach your IO? Why am I asking you? I'll tell you why. Because the kind of personality that you are, was it that you required to prune your personality to bring it in front of IO, or you were just you?
I have an interview.
Yes.
Ma'am, it was naturally what I was. I knew certain things that I have to portray these things.
Acha, portray?
There were certain things now that you cannot show it in the to the IO.
वैसे मालूम तो पड़ गया कि सबसे ज्यादा नॉटी तो तुम ही हो, मतलब एकदम तिकड़मबाज. ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता आयो को नहीं मालूम पड़ा होगा.
वो तो चल गया होगा, पर अपने मुझसे क्यों होता है?
अच्छा, okay then.
So ma'am, when there was some certain questionings, so the starting was from the CIQ. He asked me what were the changes that you need in Ghaziabad, where I live. So I told him,
what not?
नहीं क्यों गंदा बताऊं मैं अपनी जगह को?
So, please, I'm so sorry. Okay, yes, please. Okay, then. Okay, then what?
CIQ continued. He cross questioned. Then he came to my friend's point.
Okay.
He asked me tell me some mischievous activities that you did with your friends.
What not? Again, बोले सर ऐसे सवाल क्यों पूछ रहे हो जिसका आंसर what not ही है. Okay, then
Now I
what
have to think that which one I have to tell.
happened? Okay.
So not to show myself very bad kind of person, so I said him that we heard a rumor that there was a haunted house kind of place in
Okay.
near our society. There is a place, very big kind of bungalow, and it is vacant from very long time. So one day we saw the door was open and all of our friends went inside. Let us see what is there. And there was nothing there. So he cross
Sad.
questioned me कि ये नहीं जानना मुझे, टेल मी जब तुम फंस गए.
अच्छा. Good, Ayo. I like it. Okay, good. All
So now
right.
I was thinking कि कितना फंस गया वो बताने की क्या बताऊं.
Okay.
So I
So
told him
फिर
that I was very enthusiastic in sports. So there was sports day going on for juniors, and I had a library period in my last period. So me and my friends bunked the class and went to ground. Now we were putting pressure onto our team, like play. What are you doing? Play. So then the principal sir called us that Bhavishya, Rohan, and Bhavya, wherever you are, please come to come to my office. Now we were making up what to say in front of principal sir. We went there. So I was the house captain of my house. I went there. I told sir I was there to motivate my team. They were my juniors. It is my responsibility to make them motivated.
SRT तो बहुत अच्छी गई होंगी तुम्हारी, right?
बहुत अच्छी.
Good. Good one. I really like it. So should I say the presence of mind and common sense plays a major role?
Yes, ma'am, and liveliness.
And liveliness. Very good question. Very, very good aspect. Why liveliness? It is kabhi bhi, koi bhi. I was mentioning that in one of the reels it was mentioned, and somebody wrote an amazingly beautiful comment, and it was so humorous. It's not humorous. It was so nice. It was so lively, and it was full of, you know, एकदम मस्त वाला idea था. And I wrote there, humor is a very valued aspect because it requires your intellect, presence of mind, common sense. You use everything, and it takes everybody together. So tell me a little more about liveliness.
मैम मजे करना ही होता है और कुछ तो होता नहीं.
नहीं तो मजे करने तो सारी दुनिया मजे करती है भविष्य. How can you say that liveliness plays a very important aspect in, let's say, from SSB point of view?
Ma'am, if your person is very happy,
Yes.
you will not be very tensed
Yes.
for the performance over there. So before GD, when our G2 day started, in the morning time, all were very tensed at what to do. They all were revising news, all were going through articles. So I went there. I asked, क्या कर रहे हो भाई? जो आना होगा हो जाएगा, कर लेंगे. So all of them shut the books. I took it over them and I made them some jokes. टांग खिंचाई कर दी किसी की. So all of us laughed and then we went to GD.
Very
At
good.
that point of time, like doing liveliness over there, doing fun over there, makes a good bonding in the team. Now, when we went to GD, there was one who was my earlier trait, the dominant one. So, in the off task, when I was putting influence onto my group, like I am the one who is making everyone happy. So, all were to my sides. So, whenever I used to speak in GD, all used to say, "Gentlemen, you please stop, let him speak."
Okay.
So, that was a very plus point for myself.
Okay.
And my happiness was the main key to that influence.
Very good. Very, very important aspect, Bhavishya, that you have brought out, which I suppose many lose in spite of they having it. Why? Because they themselves are so very tensed about it. But we were on to IO. So what all did you really prepare for your IO further, apart from your CIQ?
Ma'am, I took out, like, first of all, for the TAT also, I searched into my life. And the same thing is for IO also. Just deep dive into your life, understand yourself. What have you done? What have you not done? What are your responsibilities? What are your not your responsibilities? What help you have given to your father? What have you taken from him? Like he also asked me, whom do you confide when in help? So I told him that in the emotional time, I go to my mother. If it is financial, I go to my father. If it is related to career, I take advice of both. He asked me, when was the last time that you took emotional support from your mother?
Very nice.
Now I have to think that when I took it, because that is the first thought which came into our mind, that if I am emotional, I go to my mother.
Yes.
But I never knew that when I went.
Yes.
So I took some time. Then I came into back to the instance when I failed my first ND attempt.
Wow.
All of my school knew that I am very dedicated to it. They all were so into it that they knew that he will clear it this time. Then the next day when I went to school after not clearing it,
Written NDA, right?
I written ND exam.
Yeah. Okay.
They asked me, "Bhai kaisa gaya?" And I was speechless because it went very bad. And I also told him that I failed because of my overconfidence. So then also he dived into it, that why overconfidence? Why do you think that you are overconfident? How do you overcame it? Like those kind of things.
Salute to IO. I have got all, I respect, all my respect is there for Miss You, but amazing, amazing. I am no words. Amazing. Good. Okay then.
Then after a certain point of time, I deviated the interview.
Acha.
I was the
You
one leading in
deviated.
everything.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
when the timetable thing came up, I told him that my reading habits are reading newspaper. And in my timetable also 7:30 to 8:30 is my reading newspaper timing. So now he catch that thing and asked me, okay, which newspaper did you read? I said, The Hindu. How many pages come into it? What is the cost? Who's the editor? And then the news started. Then for the next 30 minutes, all current affair topics, issues, like he want to know my opinion. He asked, what is your opinion on it? What do you think? How can it be reduced? So it was going like that. And what I prepared was like, what is my life? Because that is the toughest part to prepare for interview.
Yes. So before I will not give a summary of what really happened with you, Bhavisha, because I want to listen to Soumya's interview also. So Soumya, what was your experience with the IO?
My interview was very unorthodox. Like what people usually think is that you'll go in, he'll first comfort you, then ask you some CIQs, then ask something about GK, technical knowledge, and something about your family. What my IO did was create pressure on me. His whole intent was to see whether I perform in pressure or not. My interview lasted for about 30 to 35 minutes. And only the starting part where he told me that there is a glass to your right, and the ending part where he told me to ask questions from him, was the part where he was talking calmly to me. Other than that, it was like if he was closer to me, he would have beaten me. It seemed as if
I don't think so.
it seemed as if he was ready to beat me, and now he will get up and start beating me.
Perhaps, so stance would have been like that, but his intentions would not have been like that. I'm very, very sure about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
His whole intent was to create pressure upon me.
Very good.
And so that was something which I was able to identify at the start of the interview only. So what he was doing, whatever I was saying, he used to object in it.
Oh.
Like he asked me what my fear is. I told him that my fear is of being stagnant in my life. I want to constantly grow and improve myself.
Amazing.
So he told me that फिर Air Force में क्यों आ रहे हो? Air Force में you'll be just doing flying, कुछ time नहीं मिलेगा. तो मैं बोलता हूँ, he wanted to see where I'm confident in my opinions or not. I told him, no, sir, I don't think so. I have seen other officers. They manage time for the sports and hobbies. I will be able to do the same. So he was very satisfied with my answers, and he did not ask me anything related to GK, current affairs, or anything related to aircrafts or Air Force. All he did was ask me about myself, my decisions in life, and whom do I come to when I am in problems, or what do I do when I am in problems? And whatever I said, like he asked me, how do my friends help me? I told him that we help each other emotionally, mentally, and everything. He asked, कब किया था last? तो I told him last NDA attempt में जब नहीं हुआ तो फिर दोस्तों ने support किया, they motivated me, and I also said that we clear each other's doubt. So since the beginning of the interview, he framed me as a very mediocre student, even though I've scored 90% in 12th and have participated in a lot of quizzes and Olympiads. He considered me as an average and low level student. So he taunted me after I told him we clear each other's out. He said, तुम्हारे खुद के doubts clear नहीं होते, तुम क्या doubt clear करोगे?
I am not going to comment on this. Okay, fine then.
Then what I observed from it, that he's seeing whether I'm patient or not.
Very good.
And what I said, that even though my own doubts are not clear, there are certain portions which I'm very confident and are able to do it properly, and hence I'm able to help my friends in that certain portion.
Mhm,
So, and likewise with my friends.
mhm.
And overall, my interview experience was very unorthodox. Like after 30 minutes when I came out, मैंने एक से पूछा कि भाई कितने मिनट में अंदर था, and उसने उसने मेरे को पहले तो ऐसे दो दिखाया. I was scared that only 2 minutes. Then he told me about 30 minutes. Then also I got scared that only 30 minutes. Like usually the IOs were taking interviews for an hour or an hour and a half for most of the people, but he only took 30 to 35 to SSB. So that caused me a lot of worry initially. But later on I became calm that जो होना होगा होगा, अब तो हो गया. So the key to interview is to know yourself, and what, as people say, that your only competition is you, your only support is also you.
Very good.
So why not you know yourself better?
Thank
If
you
you
so
know
much,
yourself,
Soumya. Yeah, yeah. Say that. Say it. Please complete your statement.
people say that you are your only competition, but at the same time you are also your own support also. So you need to know yourself, that the person who is supporting you throughout your life, who is also competing with you at the same time with you, why not you should try to know him better. You should be the one who should be aware of everything about him. You should know more about yourself than the psych or the interviewing officer could even find out. And there were similar questions like bhavishya, like life mein mischievous kya kiya hai. And so I have done a lot of mischiefs in my life, and a lot of them are very shameful that I won't be able to say in this. So
Leave your numbers
similarly,
here. Leave your numbers here and the Insta handles. I'm very sure people are going to, when people are going to really ask you, कि भाई चलो share and everything. But yes, do that. Okay.
so at the same time, the same thought as Bhavishya came in कि ज़्यादा hype पर नहीं बताना है कि मेरे को ये बहुत ज़्यादा बदमाश है इसलिए. So then I thought of something which was very low level, and even after that, he told me कि यही बदमाशी की है तुमने. तो फिर मैं बोलते यस सर, तो फिर बोलते फिर तो तुमने कुछ किया ही नहीं है. So the whole interview, my whole interview experience was like, whatever I said, he used to object it. And if I said anything like about my strengths and weaknesses, वो examples मांगते थे. कि if I told him that I'm amiable, कि वो पूछते थे कि कहाँ कहाँ देखा तुमने, कैसे एग्जांपल्स दो कि कहाँ पे एग्जैक्ट तुम्हें पता चला कि तुम अडेप्टेबल हो. और फिर सेम फॉर द वीकनेसेस, लाइक एंड especially from your parents, he'll ask you what your parents opinion is on you, what do they tell you, and for friends also. And once you tell what they tell you, he'll also take out certain points from it and ask you, where have you seen them. Like I told him that my father tells me to first think then act.
Very good.
So उन्होंने पूछा कि कहाँ पे उन्होंने देखा. So spontaneously I could not think of anything. Then I took some time. I remembered that when my dad teaches me driving, and then he tells me that instruments पहले read किया करो फिर गाड़ी start किया करो.
Very good.
So वही बताया. तो from this he started that you are underage, फिर driving क्यों सीख रहे हो. तो फिर मैंने उन्हें बोला sir, I might be underage, but there are certain instances or situations where I might be needed to drive. My father is preparing me for that. So he was satisfied with it and changed the questions. Similarly, it is very essential to know yourself and the people around you and their opinions.
How so?
Ma'am, by observing and reflecting upon yourself.
Very good.
Like
very good. I wanted to hear this. Very good. Okay.
I have a journal and I write everything in it. Whatever I do, whatever things I've done, my actions and my decisions. So even reading them after some days, when I go back and read the old pages, it helps me identify that अब तो ये हो गया, अब इसमें मैं और better क्या कर सकता था. and if it has gone well, तो फिर उसमें और better, इसमें ये नहीं करना चाहिए था, ये और इसका better form है. So that helps me find mistakes and my good points and everything. So it is very essential to have a documented something, like I do journaling. You can do something similar. That will help you get a better insight on yourself. You can ask your friend, like
Bhavishya has
like
done with you.
Bhavishya. Even Bhavishya helped me, like in taking out my shortcomings. So this is something which you can do also. Like everyone has friends, and I would recommend to have good friends with whom you share the feeling of brotherhood and camaraderie.
Very, very good, important
you can trust upon them. Yes. Even if not only related to preparation, and me and Bhavishya share a very emotional bond also. But if you have a problem, we contact each other. Like कि भाई ये हो रहा है ऐसे life में, कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या करूं. So even that emotional support is very necessary.
Very good.
Not only educational and preparatory support, you need all types of support. It can be your parents also, but I had Bhavishya. It can be anyone else also.
So is it right to say that continuously improving upon yourself, not just to clear SSB, but also in life, is the mantra?
Yes, ma'am. Like you don't have to shape yourself just for the SSB.
Yes.
SSB is something. If you clear it, good. If you don't clear it, no love lost. Because if you have it in you, तुम आगे हो जाओगे. लेकिन the good quality stay with you.
Thank you so much for this, Soumya and Bhavishya, because this aspect, please drive home into the hearts and the minds of each and every person whom you meet. That when you prepare for SSB, please just do not prepare yourself for clearing SSB. SSB एक पड़ाव हो सकता है, लेकिन you cannot do it to fit or tailor yourself for SSB. When you tailor yourself, when you prepare yourself for the best life, boss, you're in. You're in. What Soumya did, what Bhavishya did, they mended themselves, amended and mended themselves for becoming better human beings. I'm not pinpointing anything. I'm just bringing out one beautiful trait. This trait, you'll say कि कौन सी ओल्की को बाहर निकालता, सारी कौन सी नहीं निकालता. That you're responsible for yourself as SOR. That you took an initiative कि मेरे में गलती हो सकती है, मैं ठीक करूंगा. Initiative, that you have the confidence कि मेरे में गलती हो सकती is your confidence. That you took a decision that I need to bring this is your SOD. And the liveliness कि यार boss कर लेंगे, क्या हुआ, गलती तो हुई है ना, is your liveliness. That you persevered after it, after 1, 2, 3, 4 feedbacks, is your determination. और क्या? And lot of pressures that keep coming, तुमसे नहीं होगा, तुम fail हो चुके हो, is your mental stability. That you had the ideas, let's make a separate group, is your EI, OA, RA. क्या चाहिए? That you made a good group and you were able to bring out that let's get together, is your cooperation, adaptability. Boss, it is this, that's the reason. This change that you want and ready to accept is the mool mantra for you to becoming better. Oil cues develop karni hai, start with this. Accept the mistakes, amend it, know which one to choose and which one not to choose. And then elevate your platform and repeat. ऐसा नहीं कि platform पे आने के बाद में रुक जाना, and repeat, and repeat. In this process, what will happen is, for sure, is you will become the best and better version of yourself. I have got 2 evidences sitting right in front of me. मैं नहीं बोल रही, भविष्य एंड सौम्या बोल रहे. मैं तो क्या है मैम, आप तो यस्टर ईयर्स हो गए हो, तो आपका बोलना कोई मायने नहीं रखता. फाइन, एक्सेप्टेड. सौम्या एंड भविष्य बोल रहे हैं. And by the way, I forgot to mention, they cleared their SSBs in the first attempt. Both of you?
Yes, ma'am.
My blessings to both of you for this. I have got number of questions that number of people, most of them you have already answered. So I'm going to ask questions rapid fire and you both are going to answer fatapat se, right? Okay, Bhavishya, the books that you have chosen to prepare yourself for NDA?
None.
None. Oh, Soumya?
Ma'am, for the written part,
Yes.
for the written part, I think for maths, previous year questions are enough. And similarly for the GAT part, you can first learn the topics and do PYQs. There should be enough.
Okay. Soumya, for SSB, which books have you read?
I did not read any book dedicated to SSB, but I have read a lot of self-help books.
Okay.
As you
Bhavishya.
might be able to see, there is a library type thing.
Library there. Yeah, library. You can
So
share it with the people.
You can DM me or I'll leave the books I've read in the comment section also. So what
Yeah,
you can do is read books and improve your mindset,
okay.
and then work upon your physical fitness and everything, and you will be able to ace it.
Okay. Very good. Bhavishya, SSB.
For SSB, none. For written, NCRTs and PYQs.
भाई तुम और मैं soul people है यार. You and me are soul. You and me need instructors like Soumya. I'm the backbencher, by the way.
Similar है.
See, I told you, soul vibes. Okay. Nonetheless, okay. Please tell me, how did you folks prepare Bhavishya for PPDT?
Ma'am, doing narration practice by facing ourselves in the mirror.
Fantastic. You are Bhavishya. You and me, same. Mera answer, your is a match. So, how did you prepare for PPDT?
For narration, I used to stand in front of the mirror and speak, and even record myself speaking.
Yes,
for
very important.
Picture perception, that was along with TAT. And discussion is something in which you need to be more confident in yourself.
Yes.
So for that, I used to take part in online GDs, which are held in various Telegram groups.
Yes, I totally agree.
That helped me gain confidence and have more faith in my abilities.
So I would like to bring this aspect out because many people ask this question: is screening in में बोलने के लिए confidence कहाँ से लाए? When you look into the mirror and you look yourself into the mirror, you look yourself first is of course the body structure and everything. But when you look yourself into the eyes of yourself, what happens is the very first thing that comes out is your confidence. थोड़ा सा भी glitch होगा, आपका सबसे पहले confidence गिरता है, right? So when you are absolutely confident while looking at yourself into the mirror and then narrating it, believe me, we are done. You're done in that particular part. Am I correct, boys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I am good. Right. All right. So now there is another question for that. PPDT में क्या अपनी lead, भविष्य, this is for you. क्या PPDT में अपनी lead को छोड़ देना चाहिए और majority के साथ जाना चाहिए?
मैम, एक दो बार अगर आपको लगता है आपका आइडिया अच्छा है, you should try conveying that idea to the group. But if you think that the whole group is on the another part, so go with them.
Okay.
Or
so
rather bring yourself to the consensus, like I used to do. Gentlemen, as we all had common story around this, so this can be the theme.
Very good. Amazing. Soumya, during the discussion, अगर मान लो आपको बिल्कुल टाइम ही नहीं मिला बोलने का, you don't get, आपका नरेशन अच्छा गया, आपकी स्टोरी ठीक है, लेकिन डिस्कशन में लेट्स से आपको टाइम ही नहीं मिला, how did you used to button?
Ma'am, discussion में even if you participate a little, that is okay. But if you have wrote a good story and narrated your story confidently and clearly, that should be enough. And GD में थोड़ा बहुत participation is okay.
Okay.
And what is more important is it is not about the participation, but more about the contribution.
Fantastic.
Where it took the group. Even if you spoke one time, was your team able to go in a certain direction, or was it just for the sake of participation?
This is a very important aspect. I would want कि जब भी आपसे कोई इस बारे में बोले, there is something known as contribution and participation. People speak, kids speak for the sake of it, not contributing the points, wherein they start losing their credibility and authenticity. Don't do this, candidates, my dear aspirants. Don't do this. अगर आपको पूरे टॉपिक में से सिर्फ एक पॉइंट वैलिड नजर आता है और आप उतने में ही बोल सकते हैं, please speak that, because that will carry the value. Am I correct, Soumya and Bhavishya?
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. Great. From the PPDT, let's jump on to the fastest fingers first onto the WAT. When they say that WAT is a fast moving test and the very first thought that comes to your mind, kindly express into the form of sentence. I understand you express it in the form of a sentence or just 2 words or 3 words templates. Bhavishya.
Ma'am, sentence, ma'am. I was a dumb person in the psychology part.
Okay.
So for that WAT, I divided my subparts like sports, karate. So I have already made multiple sentences on those words. So all those sentences keep pop up into my mind whenever the word come up.
Fantastic. Beautiful. Soumya, how did you really handle the very precarious SRTs? How much did you really practice SRTs?
I did 2 sets of SRTs, and for handling the tough SRTs, what I used to do is think more. Like what what all resources are there,
Mhm.
what should be the optimal, how I can get out of the situation, how I can solve it. And
Mhm.
there aren't very hectic SRTs that koi to solution hai hi nahi. Every SRT has a solution, and there are no right solutions. Whatever comes to your mind is the answer. It
Thank
just
you.
had to be something that gives a conclusion and gets you out of the problem.
Thank you so much. This is again, I mean, again, सब लोग बोलेंगे कि ma'am is using certain cliches in the classes. So I always tell my students, in the problem lies a solution. It is like life. Life will give you the problems that it knows that you will be able to handle. Either you will run away if you think that you cannot handle. Running away is not the solution. At times, how you handle that is how it is seen. But believe you me, in the given problem, there is a way to find out the solution. Very rightly brought out, Soumya. Thank you so much for that. For IO, for preparing for current affairs, Bhavishya, what all did you read books?
The Hindu editorial, nothing else.
Nothing else. Soumya?
A newspaper and YouTube channels. I followed YouTube channels. That's it.
That's it. Okay. Fantastic. So may I also ask certain cliche questions, right? Um, uh, did you folks go for coaching?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. You think coaching is mandatory, necessary, not
N-
necessary? देख लेना चाहिए.
No, ma'am. I
Absolutely
don't think it
नहीं.
is necessary.
Very good.
What it does, it just introduces you to the procedure and everything.
Familiarization, right?
Make
And
comfortable
I
for the
think
procedure.
and I think you can get that online also now. Like there are certain channels that give you that for free.
Mhm.
And it is not mandatory that you take coaching.
So then why is everybody then why then I would rather say because you folks have done it all by yourself. Then just Bhavishya, 2 lines max. Tell me how to prepare. How did you prepare? मान लीजिए I am a candidate who does not want to go for coaching. Okay. And you know that I am not pro coaching at all. So let's say no coaching at all. How should I prepare?
Know yourself and start participating in the online groups. Like there is one road to recommendation channel in Telegram.
मुझे भी इसमें add कर लो please.
I will
Okay,
send you
fine.
the link.
Okay, do that. All right, then.
They participate in all those things and get familiarized with the process.
Okay.
Online, it can be done.
So basically, the mantra is know yourself, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Soumya, the same question.
Ma'am, the first step is to know yourself better than
Okay.
anyone else.
Very good.
Know yourself and have confidence in yourself
Mhm.
that you can do it. You are made for it, and
Mhm.
you will be selected.
Okay, I have heard about this myth that people say that go and read the startup stories, the better me stories. Is it helpful? I mean, I'm genuinely asking. Genuinely asking.
They are helpful till an extent, but what happens is that after a lot of people have read it, it is like a lot cliche that
Yes.
everyone is talking about it. What you can do is refer to your own thoughts.
Yes.
If you research,
Uh-huh.
you will find a lot more people than those certain entrepreneurs and scientists that have done well. There are many other people who have done similarly well in other fields.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So, what, Bhavisha, I will ask you one of the last set of questions is what was your general daily routine while you were preparing?
Ma'am, for the SSB, I used to wake up at time by 5 or 5:30.
Okay.
Then go for a run.
Uh-huh.
Then read newspapers,
Okay.
do my work, spend
Uh-huh.
time with family.
Uh-huh.
Also, I used to spend time for the activities like PPT and everything. I
Uh-huh.
used to schedule my day one day back. In
Okay.
the previous night, I used to schedule that I have to do these things.
Okay.
And at what time, I don't know. Whenever I will get time, I will do these things. I have a target schedule, not the
Okay.
time-based schedule.
So you used to schedule your timings for the next day.
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. And then were you able to, how were you able to achieve them all?
Yes, ma'am, but sometimes one or two tasks leave behind because lecturate is one of the things which everyone is very hampered about.
Okay. So, okay. So, Amit, this is for you if he's like, okay, till the time he joins. So, I would like to ask you, Bhavisha, how did you keep yourself calm? वैसे आपको रखने की जरूरत नहीं थी, you were always calm, but still, how did you keep yourself calm during the SSB?
Ma'am, मजे करना is the key.
मजे करना is the key.
When the
Okay.
task is going on, be focused on to it 100%. But
Okay.
when the task is not going on, enjoy with the people. Get to know there are many people from different state.
Yes.
There was one person from Karnataka itself.
Yes.
So I learned Kannada from him.
Very nice.
And even
Okay.
I was asked this in the conference, like, what did you learn from here? I said, Kannada. They said, tell one sentence.
Okay.
So I told them, Neve yellugo huguti dira.
What does that mean?
Where are you going? Because I like to travel. I was traveling over there. So this was the important sentence.
Very good. So this brings me to the communication part. How important is the communication skill there?
Ma'am, very important.
Why?
Ma'am, if you don't have confidence to communicate with anyone, then you can not do anything. In the IU, the person I told you about gets hampered in the just 15-20 minutes. That was because of he lacked communication skills.
Yes.
If you
So
have
how did you work on your communication skills? Did you put in something extra?
No, ma'am. I did not do anything. I was a sports person. I used to go on tournaments, visit people, talk to people. That was the key.
So last but not the least, I mean, I see that Soumya is yet to join back. So you mean to say, then is English important, Soumya? Sorry, Bhavisha?
Yes, ma'am. English do play an important role.
Why?
Not at to very much extent, but to some extent. Like if you cannot communicate your thoughts in English, then how will you communicate all those things in the NDA? There you have to visit the foreign delegates also. There are many people from.
So should I say that अगर आप अपने भविष्य के लिए भविष्य is not serious about his भविष्य, then when you know that English is an integral part of this entire interview session, SSB, and you have not put in that much of effort, then your seriousness can be a question. Can I say this?
Definitely.
Very.
And English can be improved in just 1 or 2 months, I think.
How?
Ma'am, start communicating with your friends, start participating in online GDs, talk to people in English. What at max, what will happen? You will not say correctly. It will improve eventually.
What is, last but not the least, what is that you would want to communicate to all your colleagues, aspirants? What is that you would want to tell them? With respect to preparation, with respect to life?
Just constantly keep improving. Accept your mistakes and improve all those things. This is the best thing that you can do to yourself. Not for SSB, for all life as well. So
just a second, I will wait for Soumya to be audible because I would want him also to say. So when you summarize your life from the day of NDA clearing to not clearing and then clearing and also clearing the SSB, what is the gist that you want to tell to all?
Ma'am, this was the only key. I constantly keep improving myself. I know this was the place I was lacking. I improved myself in the written. I improved in GD, in every part of the SSB. I know where was my shortcomings and I worked upon it and I improved. Very good. Thank you so much, Bhavisha, for bringing this out. Soumya, this is my wrapping question for all of. What is that you would want to tell all those who are listening to you? What is that you have learned from the period of your clearing and not clearing NDA and then clearing the NDA test and then coming to SSB and preparation? What is that you want to give the gist to all and everybody who's listening to you?
Like everyone is have ambition. Believe in yourself that you can do it and see yourself as someone worthy of it. And then start working for it. And your ambition will work as a driving force for you. It will not only support you, but it will also carry you forward to your goal. Like what I believe, if you have the ambition, you can learn. And by learning, you can inculcate everything that you want to in yourself, not only the OLQs, but in life. If you have ambition, you can climb any level that you want to. You can reach any height that you want to.
Can I replace the word ambition with a purpose of a life?
Yes, ma'am.
So is it okay to say that if your purpose of life is very clear, you can attain anything through constant learning?
Yes, ma'am. Like, even if we take a situation like in our daily lives, जब हम घर से बाहर निकलते हैं, and when we have a certain goal कि यहाँ से मुझे यहाँ जाना है, then the path is very short and precise. But अब घर से बाहर निकले, पता ही नहीं है कहाँ जाना है. What we do is keep roaming around, and there is no limit. It is very important to have a purpose कि हम ये करना है, and I will do.
He speaks my language and I am so happy that two friends, Jay and Video, are talking of like, तुम लोगों ने मेरा नाम क्या रखा था by the way starting में?
गब्बर.
हाँ.
गब्बर.
तुम लोग शोले की मूवी बना रहे हो और मुझे मारने का कोई पूरा प्लान है. कोई बात नहीं, मिल लेंगे तो. But I'm so very happy to see both of you here. Why am I more than just see, recommendation is part and parcel of life. It happens, right? But more than what I'm happy is youngsters thinking, high level, purpose, aim, all clear, clarity. And you folks have worked towards it. Thank you so much because you folks represent the young generation today. And if this is the young generation, hats off to you. I'm so happy to have met both of you. I have learned plethora from you. These half of the questions, more than half of the questions were my doubts that you folks have clarified. Thank you. And I know there are many out there. I would want you to be candid to tell them exactly what you have spoken here. Guide them. At times, the problem is not with the attitude or with the preparation. At times, the problem is the unawareness, ignorance. कि बॉस कुछ नहीं चाहिए, बाकी सब कुछ. No, cut the noise. Goal is know yourself. Please tell this, क्योंकि मेरा बोला हुआ हो सकता है on the other side. All the SSs, I represent all the SSs. But all the SSs want only one thing. That is know yourself. When the person is clear, confident, knowing oneself, that person can perform, be, do whatever. Thank you, Soumya and Bhavishya, for coming on this platform, being extremely candid. I loved every moment of the conversation. We will meet for sure whenever the time is there. I would love to see you in, first of all, in the dress of the cadets and then as the officers. And I would love to have that photograph of you flying the Sukhoi. That will be a very, very proud moment for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
God bless you and see you whenever we see each other.
For sure, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am.